Hello everyone, and welcome back to LexiMind, the channel where knowledge meets language learning.
That's right. If you're new here, this is the place where we dig deep into amazing books, discuss the big ideas inside them, and at the same time, we teach you real, useful language that you can actually use in your everyday life.
I'm Mary.
And I'm Lucas, and today we have an absolute page-turner for you.
Let's jump right into this explainer, because today we are unpacking a literal, real-life thriller. Based on the reporting of war correspondent Lyse Doucet, we're going to look at the modern history of Afghanistan through the lens of one remarkable building that simply refused to die. We'll trace 50 years of invasions, sudden coups, and brutal civil wars, all witnessed right from the front doors of the Intercontinental Hotel in Kabul. You know, this isn't just a story about bricks and mortar. It's an incredibly high-stakes story of survival. Picture this. We're starting right at the climax of a decades-long saga. It's a Saturday evening in August 2021. Inside the hotel's super-luxurious Kandahar ballroom, a beautiful wedding is underway, and the bride is wearing this stunning emerald green dress. But suddenly, the music just cuts out. Whispers start rippling through the crowd. The Taliban have entered Kabul. The government is literally collapsing in real time. As the old regime hastily checks out, the hotel staff, the waiters, the managers, the cleaners, are left just standing in the lobby, terrified. They literally don't know if they're going to live or die in the coming hours. Now, to understand the sheer heart-pounding terror of that night and why these workers didn't just instantly run for their lives, we need to rewind. We have to see what this brutalist hilltop hotel actually meant to the people inside it. You see, to the staff, the Intercontinental wasn't just a paycheck. It was their misal-e-khana. It's an Afghan phrase meaning like their own home. And while when your home is surrounded, you do whatever it takes to keep it standing. Let's start with part one, the golden years, from 1969 to 1978. When the hotel first opened its doors back in 1969, it was this five-star fortress on a hill, built as a totally glamorous symbol of a rapidly modernizing country. But the sensory contrast was jarring. Inside, you had avant-garde French fashion shows, mixed-gender swimming pools, and an actual in-house rock band playing the hits. But right outside those revolving doors, a really dangerous geopolitical chess game was escalating. Cold War tensions were simmering hard, and a creeping, claustrophobic dread started to surround the hilltop. Which pulls us into part two, the red and dark years spanning 1978 to 1996. That golden era, it completely shattered with a bloody communist coup in 1978. The happy-go-lucky fizz evaporated literally overnight, totally replaced by the smell of gunpowder. And the sheer pace of the violent regime changes that followed was dizzying. First, you get a republic, then a communist takeover where hotel staff literally watched military jets bomb the presidential palace right from their windows, then a Soviet occupation, which was followed by a catastrophic Mujahideen civil war. Basically, every few years, a brand new war arrived right at the front doors. The surreal reality of this era forces us to ask a wild question. How do you adapt when hell breaks loose outside? Well, when 85,000 Soviet troops invaded, the staff hosted vodka-soaked banquets for Soviet ministers. A young engineer named Amanullah actually brought hungry Soviet soldiers who were stationed in the forecourt inside just to feed them. And years later, when the Mujahideen took over, fighters slept right on the lobby floors with their weapons, demanding food from the restaurant while rockets literally flew overhead. It was a daily, high-stakes tightrope walk of survival. As civil war completely tore Kabul apart in the 1990s, warlords carved the city into fiefdoms. The hotel's power was completely cut, its nice carpets got stained, its pool was emptied out. The sheer hopelessness of this specific era is captured perfectly and hauntingly by Commander Ahmad Shah Massoud. He took shelter in the hotel's old cocktail lounge as rival factions closed in. When a young waiter asked if he wanted some tea, Massoud just replied, "My son, do you have poison I could drink? The situation is very bad." Moving on to part three. The White Years, 1996 to 2001. In September 1996, the Taliban swept into the city. Now the rockets largely stopped, but they were instantly replaced by a terrifyingly strict new reality. The hotel had to completely shapeshift just to survive. The new rulers hauled down the national flag and hoisted up a white one. They destroyed all the alcohol, totally outlawed music, and immediately banished all female staff from the building. Experienced clerks were hidden away in the back, and armed recruits took over the reception desk. The cosmopolitan past was violently erased, yet somehow, the hotel was still forced to provide a five-star luxury under the constant looming threat of severe punishment. Behind the scenes, the tension was absolutely electric. Chief engineer Amanullah had to execute this flawless survival strategy to keep the building from physically crumbling. Step 1, he grew a beard to comply with the new rules. Step 2, he boldly negotiated directly with Taliban ministers for repair funds. And Step 3, he used pure technical genius to keep the lights on without proper supplies. And get this, he did all of this while a mysterious, very tall Arab guest, Osama bin Laden, moved like a ghost through the hotel's private back stairwells.
Which takes us to part 4, the years of light and dark, 2001 to 2021.
After 9/11, warplanes streaked across the sky and the Taliban fled the city. By the autumn of 2001, the hotel entered this chaotic era of fragile, tentative hope. The music returned, the diaspora came back, and this shift is incredible to see through the eyes of a new staff member. Abida, she was an illiterate widow who had survived grinding poverty, and she auditioned by cooking perfect ashak dumplings, ultimately becoming the first female chef in the kitchen since the Taliban takeover. Democratic elections were suddenly being held in the ballroom, pop stars performed. But beneath all that vibrant energy, the hotel remained incredibly vulnerable. Because, as the years ticked by, the Taliban insurgencies slowly began creeping back into the city. Targeted assassinations and sticky bombs became the new, terrifying morning routine. The anxiety spiked hard, transforming the hotel from a symbol of renewed hope back into a fortress surrounded by massive blast walls, which forces us to ask a genuinely terrifying question. Where do you actually hide when the very building you rely on to protect you is breached? That brings us to the catastrophic siege of 2018. Suicide bombers and gunmen stormed the hotel in the middle of the night. Imagine the heart-pounding terror of this. Hazret, an elderly housekeeper who had worked there since the golden years, grabbed a young colleague and dragged him into a tiny, pitch-black cleaning supplies closet. 10 agonizing hours in total darkness. They just listened to the thump of grenades and the crackle of gunfire right outside their door. Hazret just held the young man, absolutely refusing to close his eyes until special forces finally reached them. And finally, Part 5, Survival and Reckoning, August 2021. This brings us rapidly back to exactly where we started. The aborted wedding, the sudden government collapse, and Taliban fighters confidently walking back through those revolving doors. As the dust settled on this latest regime change, the staff met wildly divergent fates. Sadek, the HR manager, fled to the US. Abida, the brilliant chef, was banished from the kitchen once again, but she flat out refused to leave Kabul. In a crazy twist of fate, Amanullah's son was actually hired by the Taliban to be the new marketing manager. And Hazrat, the man who hid in the closet, he simply went back to cleaning his floor. Across 50 years of relentless, grinding violence, through Soviet invasions, Mujahideen civil wars, suicide bombings, and multiple complete regime collapses, there is one absolutely staggering number to take away from all this: 0. That is the exact number of days the Intercontinental Hotel closed its doors. This hotel is the ultimate survivor in a true geopolitical thriller. It stands today, battered but unbroken, a living monument to the staggering resilience of ordinary people who literally kept sweeping the floors while history exploded all around them. It leaves us to wonder, if merely keeping the doors open is the ultimate form of resistance, what new chapters of suspense and survival will these bullet-pocked walls absorb next?